Why do so many people over 50 wake up multiple times a night, even when they barely drink any water before bed? Is waking up to pee really just a normal part of aging? Or could it be a sign of something you're unknowingly doing wrong each day? What if the real reason behind your nighttime urination could be fixed with just a few simple changes, without medication or expensive treatments? Have you ever found yourself waking up in the middle of the night, again and again, just to pee, even on nights when you barely drank a drop of water before bedtime? It's frustrating, isn't it? As we get older, our bodies naturally go through changes. But frequent nighttime urination doesn't have to be one of those things we simply accept. The truth is, this problem is often rooted in just a few everyday habits, and the good news is, they're surprisingly easy to fix. In this video, we're breaking down 5 common mistakes that might be the real reason you're waking up to pee at night. Each of these can be corrected without complicated routines, expensive products, or drastic lifestyle changes. From the way you hydrate during the day to the small choices you make around dinner time, you'll discover how much these habits affect your bladder and sleep. These aren't just general tips, they're practical, proven ways to help you feel more comfortable and confident in your body again. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the causes of nighttime urination, you'll also have clear steps you can take starting tonight. No more staring at the clock at 2 a.m. No more bracing for the cold bathroom floor. Instead, you'll give your body the rest it truly needs and wake up feeling refreshed, energized, and back in control of your nights. Let's dive in. Number 1. Eating salty or processed foods at dinner. One of the most overlooked reasons people wake up during the night to use the bathroom actually lies in what's on their dinner plate. Most people don't realize that consuming salty or highly processed foods in the evening can quietly set the stage for restless nights filled with multiple, unwanted trips to the bathroom. It happens so subtly that many people don't even notice the connection. Maybe it starts with a warm bowl of soup, a sandwich stacked with deli meat, or a quick frozen dinner you grab after a long day. These foods feel convenient, even comforting, but the hidden salt in them adds up much faster than you'd expect. And that salt? It doesn't just flavor your meal. It can linger in your system, sabotaging your sleep without warning. What salt does to your body might sound simple, but the impact is surprisingly strong. Throughout the day, sodium encourages your body to retain fluid in your tissues, but once you finally lie down to sleep, your body shifts gears. When you're horizontal, the fluid that was held in your legs and other tissues begins to return to your bloodstream. At that point, your kidneys go into action, filtering out the excess, leading to increased urine production right when your body is trying to rest. That's how you end up waking up with a full bladder, even though you didn't drink much before bed. That seemingly harmless salty dinner? It triggered the whole process. I remember speaking with a man named Leonard, 80 years old, who proudly still cooked for himself every day. His meals often included canned soups and ready-made frozen dishes. They were quick, easy, and reminded him of home. But what frustrated him most was waking up once, sometimes even twice each night, to use the bathroom. When he decided to switch to low-sodium versions and began flavoring his meals with fresh vegetables and herbs instead of extra salt, the difference was almost immediate. His nights became more peaceful. He still got to enjoy the meals he loved, just prepared in a way that supported his body instead of working against it. The great news is, this small change doesn't require giving up your favorite foods. It's simply about making wiser, more thoughtful choices that give your body a better chance to rest and stay asleep through the night. Is one of the simplest and most manageable changes you can make. You don't need to abandon your favorite meals or radically change your diet. Just becoming more mindful of how much salt you're using, reading nutrition labels more carefully, or choosing fresh ingredients whenever possible can create a noticeable shift. For instance, if you're putting together a sandwich, consider using roasted chicken or turkey that you prepare at home instead of processed deli meats, which often hide large amounts of sodium. If you love soup, try making a basic homemade version where you have full control over the salt content. These small adjustments may seem minor at first, but over time, they can significantly reduce the urge to wake up during the night. What's especially encouraging is how quickly many people begin to notice the difference after cutting back on salty evening meals. In just a few nights, some start sleeping through longer stretches without interruptions. And it's not only the improved sleep, many also report feeling less bloated or puffy during the day, with steadier energy levels that last. That's the power of being intentional with what you put on your plate. When you give your body what it truly needs, it responds with more comfort, balance, and ease. Salt is incredibly common in everyday foods, which makes it easy to overlook. But with just a little extra care in your evening routine, you're giving yourself the chance to rest more deeply and wake up feeling refreshed and ready. Over time, this simple attention to detail can help you feel more physically comfortable, more emotionally confident, and much more in control of your nights. And as your nights improve, your days often follow, with a calm, steady energy that lets you enjoy more of life without feeling held back. Themselves waking up at night to use the bathroom, not because of what they ate or drank, but because of something they didn't do before bed. Failing to elevate your legs for even a short period in the evening can quietly lead to those frustrating nighttime interruptions. It might sound too simple to matter, but this one small habit can make a surprisingly big difference in how your night goes. Here's why. Throughout the day, gravity is constantly pulling fluid downward into the lower parts of your body. That's why it's common to feel some swelling in your feet, ankles, or calves by the time evening rolls around. But that fluid doesn't just vanish once you lie down. Instead, your body begins to reabsorb it, sending it back into your bloodstream. From there, your kidneys go to work filtering out the excess, right when you're trying to sleep. That leads to more urine production just as you're settling in for the night. When you skip the simple step of elevating your legs in the evening, you're essentially asking your body to handle fluid redistribution and elimination while you're asleep. It's no wonder that you wake up with that familiar urge to go. The result is another restless night and another morning where you feel less refreshed than you'd hoped. I once heard from a man named Roy, now 77, who shared this exact struggle. For years, he found himself getting up once, sometimes twice a night to use the bathroom. He couldn't pinpoint why, until his doctor made a surprising suggestion. Try propping up your feet for about 20 minutes before bed, maybe while watching TV or reading a book. Roy didn't expect much. It sounded almost too easy. But after just a few evenings of resting his legs on a small stool or the edge of the couch, something changed. He began sleeping through the night more often, and those dreaded middle-of-the-night wake-ups became less frequent. That small shift gave him back a sense of control and the restful, uninterrupted sleep he'd been missing. Rest he hadn't experienced in years. What makes this solution so appealing is how gentle, accessible, and effortless it truly is. You don't need any fancy equipment or expensive tools. Just a couple of pillows, a footstool, or even the armrest of your couch will work perfectly. The key is simply to elevate your legs so they're slightly above the level of your heart for a short while. This small position shift helps your body guide that excess fluid out of your lower limbs and back into circulation, while you're still awake and alert. By doing this, your kidneys are given the opportunity to filter that fluid before bedtime, rather than working overtime during the night and pulling you from deep sleep. It's such a small gesture, yet it plays a big role in easing the burden on your body while you rest. And the best part? It fits so naturally into your evening routine. Whether you're watching the news, catching your favorite show, or quietly reading before bed, just resting with your feet elevated allows your body to prepare for more restful sleep. As this habit becomes part of your rhythm, you might begin to notice more than just fewer nighttime interruptions. Many people say their legs feel lighter, less swollen, and more refreshed during the day. That's the kind of quiet but powerful reward that comes from simply tuning in and giving your body what it needs. It's an act of self-care, one that asks very little but gives back so much. Over time, this small adjustment can bring real transformation. Your nights become calmer, your mornings start brighter, and your energy throughout the day feels steadier and more reliable. It's a reminder that taking care of yourself doesn't always require a dramatic change. Sometimes, the most meaningful results come from the softest, most consistent actions, the ones that support you without disruption, right where you are. And each good night's sleep you gain becomes a quiet investment in your strength, comfort, and confidence to enjoy the day ahead. Of each new day. If you're still with us and finding this information helpful, take a moment to comment number 2 below. That lets me know you're engaged and benefiting from what we're sharing. And if you haven't already subscribed, now's a great time to do so. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you never miss future videos. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs, empowers, and inspires you toward better health. Now, let's keep going. Drinking too many fluids before bedtime is one of the most common, and surprisingly overlooked, reasons why so many people find themselves waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. It's easy to underestimate just how much evening drinks can impact your sleep. Maybe you enjoy a glass of water with dinner, a calming cup of tea before bed, or even just a few sips of your favorite beverage while you watch TV. Harmless, right? But all of those little choices add up. And when you take in fluids too close to bedtime, your bladder doesn't clock out when you do. Instead of settling into deep, uninterrupted rest, your body remains busy processing the extra liquid. And that often means your bladder sends out its signal. Suddenly, you're wide awake, feeling that unmistakable urgency. You shuffle down the hall, frustrated, wishing for nothing more than to fall back asleep and stay that way until morning. This happens because, as remarkable as your body is, it has limits, especially during rest. The fluids you consume must be processed, and if there's more than your system can handle comfortably during sleep, it's your bladder that takes the lead, disrupting your rest to keep things in balance. For many people in their 60s and 70s or 80s, this becomes even more noticeable. As we age, the bladder's capacity often shrinks, and the signals it sends can feel stronger, more urgent, or even misleading, triggering a wake-up call even when there's only a small amount inside. That's why paying close attention to the timing of your last beverage, whether it's water, herbal tea, or anything else, can make such a meaningful difference. Making a conscious decision to shift your hydration earlier in the day allows your body to process fluids before you lie down, giving your nights a better chance of staying quiet and uninterrupted. I once spoke with a gentleman named Earl, now 83 years old, who shared something that might sound familiar. Every evening, he enjoyed 2 cups of herbal tea before bed. He believed it helped him unwind, and in many ways, it did. But what puzzled him was why he kept waking up 2 or even 3 times each night to use the bathroom. It wasn't until he began drinking his tea a bit earlier in the evening, at least 2 hours before bedtime, that things started to change. He found that he slept more soundly and made it through the night with far fewer interruptions. The solution wasn't to give up something he enjoyed. It was simply about adjusting the timing so his body could truly rest. The key here isn't to eliminate fluids entirely. Staying hydrated remains essential no matter your age. But the when matters just as much as the what. Try shifting your hydration earlier in the day. That glass of water that often comes with dinner? Have it at lunch instead. If you enjoy an evening beverage, go ahead. But keep it light and aim to finish it well before you start your nighttime wind-down routine. Over time, this one small shift in timing can reduce that late-night urgency and allow your body the uninterrupted rest it craves. Many people are genuinely surprised by how effective such a simple change can be. It's a gentle tweak. No need to give up what you love. Just shift it to a moment in your day when it serves you better. And as your sleep becomes deeper and less disturbed, you might find something else happens too. Your mornings begin to feel brighter, your mood is a little lighter, and your energy throughout the day becomes steadier and more reliable. That's the power of a truly restful night. Sometimes it doesn't take a dramatic overhaul, just thoughtful, subtle changes that help your body work with you instead of against you. Something as simple as drinking your fluids earlier could be the quiet secret to getting that peace back. A real impact on your sleep and those frustrating nighttime trips to the bathroom is the late-day consumption of caffeine or alcohol. Both are common parts of many people's routines. Maybe it's a friendly afternoon coffee with a neighbor or a glass of wine at dinner to unwind after a long day. These small rituals often bring comfort and connection. But what most people don't realize is how these habits can quietly disrupt your sleep and increase nighttime urination in ways that aren't immediately obvious. The reason lies in how both caffeine and alcohol affect your bladder and interfere with your body's ability to rest deeply. Let's start with caffeine. Whether it's in coffee, tea, soda, or even a square of dark chocolate, caffeine acts as a stimulant, not just to your brain, but also to your bladder. It can irritate the bladder lining, prompting it to send out those gotta-go signals more often, even when it's not actually full. On top of that, caffeine stays in your system for hours. So that seemingly harmless cup of coffee at 3 p.m., it could still be working against you at 10 p.m., quietly keeping your body alert and your bladder active while you try to sleep. I once met a man named Carl, 74 years old, who was puzzled about his frequent nighttime awakenings. He wasn't drinking much in the evening, yet he was still waking up needing to pee. It wasn't until he decided to skip his usual afternoon coffee and switch to a caffeine-free herbal tea that things started to change. Within just a few nights, he was sleeping in longer, uninterrupted stretches and finally getting the deep rest he'd been missing. Alcohol, on the other hand, works a little differently, but can be just as disruptive. While that evening glass of wine or beer might feel relaxing, alcohol is actually a diuretic. It encourages your body to flush out water, which naturally leads to increased urine production. So even if you're only having one drink, your bladder may still be working overtime later that night. The irony? Something that feels like it's helping you wind down may actually be setting you up for restless, broken sleep, more urine production, and because alcohol can also disrupt your body's natural sleep rhythms, the trouble doesn't stop once you've made that trip to the bathroom. You may find it harder to fall back asleep afterward, lying awake and watching the clock, wondering why your rest feels so broken. The result? A night that leaves you feeling groggy, less restored, and struggling to find your usual energy the next morning. What makes this especially tricky is how subtle the effects of caffeine and alcohol can be. They often build up gradually, so you may not immediately realize how much they're contributing to your nighttime urination. You might go days or even weeks without connecting the dots until you start shifting your habits. That's when the difference can be surprisingly clear. Try enjoying your coffee or tea earlier in the day, ideally in the morning, and switching to caffeine-free drinks by mid-afternoon. If you enjoy a glass of wine, beer, or a cocktail, consider having it with dinner rather than as a late-night indulgence. These small shifts can make it easier for your body to wind down, process fluids earlier, and rest more deeply through the night. What's so encouraging about this adjustment is how simple it really is. You're not giving up the little pleasures that make your routine enjoyable. You're just making a more mindful choice about when to enjoy them. That simple timing change helps your body work with you, not against you. And as those nighttime interruptions begin to fade, you may start to notice other subtle improvements too. Your mornings feel clearer. Your mood lifts a little more easily. You move through the day with a steadier rhythm and renewed sense of control. That's the quiet power of small, thoughtful choices. Over time, they build into real change that helps you feel more confident, more energized, and more in tune with what your body needs to thrive. So you never miss new videos. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content designed and seen to inform and uplift your daily life. Now let's continue. One often overlooked habit that can quietly contribute to nighttime bathroom visits is ignoring the urge to urinate during the day. It's more common than you might think. Many people, caught up in the busyness of life, simply brush aside that signal from their bladder. Maybe they're in the middle of gardening, working around the house, shopping, or even spending time with friends. You feel the urge, but you think, "I'll wait. I'm almost done." Or, "I don't want to interrupt this moment." It feels harmless, right? But when this becomes a daily pattern, repeated again and again, it can start to retrain the way your bladder functions. What seems like a small delay can, over time, have a surprising impact. You're essentially teaching your bladder to stretch beyond its normal, healthy limits. And as this continues, your bladder can become less efficient at holding urine properly and more prone to sending confusing signals. What's more, the nerves that help regulate your urge to go can become overly sensitive. They may start firing off messages at night, even when your bladder isn't actually full. That's why some people wake up in the middle of the night with a strong sense of urgency, only to discover there's barely anything to release. It's not just inconvenient, it's frustrating and exhausting. I once spoke with a woman named Evelyn, who's now 79. She shared how, for years, she would delay going to the bathroom during the day. Whether she was running errands, talking with friends, or busy at home, she often chose not to stop what she was doing. She didn't realize that this seemingly harmless habit was gradually affecting her bladder's behavior and ultimately her sleep. She thought she was just being efficient and practical, but gradually she began to notice a pattern. She was waking up once or twice each night to use the bathroom. At first, it didn't seem connected. But when she decided to shift her approach, choosing to respond to her body's signals during the day rather than pushing them aside, things started to change. Instead of waiting, she simply went when she felt the need. And over time, those nighttime wake-ups became less frequent, giving her deeper, more restful sleep. What made this shift so powerful was its simplicity. There was no complicated plan, no expensive treatment, just a choice to tune in and honor what her body was quietly asking for. And that's something anyone can do. It doesn't require special tools or technology, just awareness and a little bit of patience. Start by paying more attention throughout the day. When that subtle urge arises, even if you're in the middle of something, take the time to go. It might feel inconvenient in the moment, but think of it as an investment in your health. You're helping your bladder function more naturally and training your body to send clearer, more accurate signals, not just during the day, but at night too. And the benefits go beyond better sleep. Many people find that during the day, they feel less pressure, less urgency, and more physical ease. It's like giving your body permission to relax and return to balance. Then, when nighttime comes, your rest may be deeper, your sleep less broken. You may wake up feeling more refreshed, with a steady kind of energy that carries you through the day ahead. This is the kind of gentle, thoughtful change that builds quietly over time. It brings small but meaningful results, helping you feel more grounded, more in control, and more confident in the way you care for yourself. Choosing to respect your bladder's natural rhythm is an act of kindness, one that supports your health and helps break the frustrating cycle of nighttime awakenings. And as those small choices begin to add up, your nights may become more peaceful, and your mornings may greet you with a new sense of clarity, calm, and strength. Something as simple and gentle as elevating your legs before bed might be all it takes to help you sleep more peacefully through the night. Each of these tips isn't about making drastic or overwhelming changes. Instead, they're small, thoughtful adjustments that can be seamlessly woven into your daily routine. Steps that offer you a renewed sense of control over your nights and the quality of your rest. The reality is, waking up to pee at night isn't something you have to accept as an inevitable part of aging. When you take the time to understand the subtle habits that may be working against your body, and when you're willing to make mindful choices to support it, you empower yourself to sleep more soundly and wake up feeling genuinely refreshed. Whether that means enjoying your coffee or tea earlier in the day, cutting back on salty dinners, or listening more closely to your body's signals during the day, each of these choices is a quiet yet powerful investment in your well-being. These are not grand gestures. They're small acts of self-care that accumulate over time, protecting your sleep, your comfort, and your energy for the day ahead. We'd truly love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share one tip that stood out to you, or tell us how you plan to apply it in your own life. Your voice matters here, and your stories inspire us, and others, more than you know. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support helps us continue creating content designed to inform, uplift, and empower your health journey. Wishing you great health, lasting happiness, and peaceful nights ahead. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful videos just like this.